and welcome to GC360. I'm Meredith Barnes.
And I'm Elliot Payne.
A weekly current events discussion takes place in the Georgia College Library for participants to discuss topics of civil discourse. A New York Times article is chosen by the facilitator and discussion is conducted around the facilitator's comments. Leaders of discussion can be students or faculty. Ross Bailey gives us a look at one discussion.
Violent video games. They're a daily pastime for millions of people around the world. It's also a multi-billion-dollar industry and a consistently polarizing social issue. Last Wednesday, violent video games were the focus of the Georgia College Times Talk, held on the second floor of the LITC. Professor of Mass Communication Peyton McMichael hosted the event, where he and roughly 60 students and staff members discussed a range of topics related to video game violence.
I teach a lot of our journalism and writing classes, but also teach law, which is why this Times Talk was so relevant to me, because I teach the First Amendment and what it represents and where it stands as far as what the government can and cannot do when it comes to regulating speech.
I wouldn't hurt another human being, but then there's certain people that are psycho that'll shoot up a school, and you don't want them playing those games.
It's interesting you say that because something that has been overlooked is that there are a number of studies that point out there are specific types of personalities that have been measured by psychologists, and that in some studies, again, no study is the law of the land, but it has shown that there are certain types of personalities where people do become more aggressive.
Making a video game is a legal endeavor that is protected by the First Amendment. The question that we're kind of posing today is, can the government in any way regulate that art form in a way that's not stepping on your First Amendment rights?
What the video games do is they put you into a certain headspace, and some people are capable of going in and coming out of that headspace depending on other influential factors. So if you enter that headspace, you're automatically going into a mental state where you're desensitized to general violence.
It's an outlet, absolutely, but you can't get that effect. At least I can't from like a racing game or a role play game or something else. It's got to be kicking someone's butt or shooting somebody, you know, kind of let out some of that negative emotion while doing that. But I know better not to go pick a fight with somebody or do that in real life, though.
I think for a lot of people, these are serious issues, but maybe there's a coolness factor where you don't want to have this discussion with your buddies on a Friday night when you're trying to relax. So having these types of moments where students can engage with a quality newspaper like the New York Times and take on a serious issue and express themselves whether in an environment where they're not going to be judged on a coolness scale or, you know, you're a party pooper if you talk politics. This is a place where you can talk politics, you can talk about controversial ideas, which to me is what the First Amendment was all about in the first place. So that's why I continue to do it every semester.
I think it's really good for students at least to actually get out and talk about things like this in an academic setting. I think it gives more understanding whenever they can actually converse about it instead of just the common misconceptions that they can create from the media.
The recent tragedies in Newton, Connecticut and Aurora, Colorado were at the forefront of the discussion Wednesday, leading students to question whether a balance could be found between public safety and individual freedom.
Every time this happens, it's a very shameful thing, you guys, to have this happen in a country as free as ours, to see that happen and to go, wow, again and again and again. We're not the only country that has this murder rates and crime, but to just have school shooting after school shooting after school shooting, to a lot of people, including me, you know, I think, wow, why here? Why does that happen here so often compared to maybe other countries that are similar to ours?
The hour-long session ended with many students and faculty members choosing to stay and continue their discussion for another 20 minutes. The event was a powerful start to this semester's Times Talk series. For GC360 News, I'm Ross Bailey.
The massacre of 20 kindergartners and first graders in Newtown, Connecticut is reverberating across the country, including here in Milledgeville. There are cries for stricter gun control and cries that more gun laws will only take away our freedoms. We wanted to know how easy or how hard it is to buy guns. Tristan Harrison visited Bain's Army Store in downtown Milledgeville to find out.
The issue of gun violence is deeply polarizing, with strong views on both sides. On the heels of such recent tragedies as the shooting in Newtown, Connecticut, and various shootings of law enforcement officers, President Barack Obama spoke of the need for more action to prevent gun violence.
My administration is taking a series of actions right away, from strengthening our background check system, to helping schools hire more resource officers if they want them, to directing the Centers for Disease Control to study the best ways to reduce gun violence.
GC360 headed to Bain's Army Store to learn more about the gun laws on the books in Georgia. Victor Bain, president and co-owner of Bain's Army Store, explained that obtaining a gun in Georgia is fairly easy.
So, can you tell me a little bit about the process of buying a gun?
The process is pretty simple. You have to be a Georgia resident, 18 over on a long gun, 21 or over on a handgun, have a Georgia driver's license, and go through a background check, or either have a concealed weapons license, which means you've already been through a background check. For a good quality handgun, you'll spend $300 or better.
Okay.
You can get cheaper ones, but you get what's paid for.
Though there are measures in place to make obtaining a firearm legal and safe, public safety issues arise through what Bain called the gun show loophole.
If you had 20 guns you wanted to sell, you could go rent your table at the gun show and sell them without having any kind of background check done or anything. Now, if a dealer like myself goes to the gun show, we have to do the same background checks that we do here.
So I'm guessing, so if I own a gun and I want to sell it,
You could take it to the gun show and sell it to anybody that comes through there.
Bain said he sees the need to allow mental health status information and universal background checks into the process of purchasing a gun.
That was one of the things that President Obama spoke about a week or two ago. He wanted that to be admitted into where they could check it when they do a background check and see if anybody's got any mental illness that should prevent them from purchasing a gun. Right now they can't do that, is my understanding.
And while Bain enjoys using his own guns for recreational purposes,
So shooting, hunt, fish, all that.
at the end of the day, he is still an advocate for stronger laws on gun purchases.
Make everybody go through a background check by purchasing a gun.
Reporting for GC360, I'm Tristan Harrison.
When we return, we'll take a look at our campus and see how diverse we really are. We'll be right back. Georgia College has given students outstanding academics and a multitude of opportunities, but it doesn't give us enough diversity. A new president could be the answer to GC's problem. GC360's Natalie Sharp takes a look.
In its philosophy, Georgia College lists a particular attention to the development of an appreciation for diversity among its distinguishing characteristics. Yet, many students, faculty, and staff look around and notice a homogeneity of hue, class, and background. In Baldwin County, just over 55% of the population is white. The other portion, minorities. Yet, step foot onto Georgia College's campus, and the white population shoots up to 83%. Black student enrollment has decreased in the past decade, which is a marked contrast with other universities in the state, including Clayton State University, Valdosta State University, and the University of Georgia, which have seen increases in black student enrollment over the past 10 years. University President Steve Norman is committed to changing these demographics.
The ethnic diversity of our faculty, staff, and students does not match the state or the region of the state in which we are located. We cannot adequately prepare students for the multicultural and multi-ethnic world they face unless we too fully embrace this world ourselves.
However, racial diversity is not the only area in which Georgia College has been weighed and found wanting. Associate Professor of Sociology Dr. Stephanie McClure says that true diversity must include more than race.
When students call us Gwinnett South, we can have students of all different races who come from Gwinnett County, and I wouldn't be satisfied. The variation has to be that wide definition.
Will the initiatives that Dr. Dorman has put in place be enough to achieve not only racial diversity, but also variation in sexual orientation, religion, class, and many other factors? GC360 sat down with Emmanuel Little, Diversity Coordinator at Georgia College's Cultural Center and Chair of the Enrollment Management Subcommittee of the President's Commission on Diversity, for his opinion on the matter.
I was, very pleased and impressed with what he said at his presidential address concerning diversity. He really had it very high on his list of priorities, and I think it's going to be, a very interesting time in the next couple of years for Georgia College, because there's lots of things that need to be done in terms of diversity. If you have the president, the VPs all on board with saying, okay, diversity is, our main theme. This is what we are striving to achieve. This is what we are embracing, and we'll accept nothing less. Then the students don't have a choice but to fall in line.
Some students are hopeful that Dr. Dorman will effect change on campus.
I think that the president is keeping up with promises that he did keep to us. I was a part of a group that actually met with Dr. Dorman earlier this year pertaining to what diversity changes we would like to see on this campus. And he did state in that meeting that he would try to see if we can get the Office of Equity and Diversity out on main campus. And with his State of the University address, he did advise that he was going to go ahead and move it to the provost's office. Now that he's moving us to the provost's office, we are going to be central to the community here at Georgia College, and we would be able to open this up to the Milledgeville area as well.
But others have their doubts.
I definitely see that he is trying to strengthen the diversity program, the diversity, especially at Georgia College. I'm a little skeptical. The legacy program that he started is a good start. I feel like it does need to have perhaps a larger budget in order to bring more diversity into Georgia College. But yes, it is a start, and I would just like to see more promise.
For Dr. McClure, hope tempered with reality seems to be the order of the day.
I'm a pragmatist. I'm aware that, what Dr. Dorman sees about the sort of state of Georgia College. I think that he really thinks that this is something that's important, but I will say, I think in the context of about 1,700 moving parts that he probably sees and has to manage. So what will that look like in terms of boots on the ground? I think we'll see.
The challenges of improving the diversity situation on campus are steep. For now, Georgia College can only watch and wait. Reporting for GC360, I'm Natalie Sharp.
Reaching out to the community is a big part of Georgia College's mission. Ross Daniel and Sarah Mead are ending their reign as Georgia College's homecoming king and queen by giving back to the Milledgeville community. They did their part at the annual Literacy Fair on Saturday, the 26th, at the Mall of Milledgeville. Daniel and Mead read, "Polar Bear, what do you hear?" One lucky kid got to wear Mr. GCSU's crown and sash. The fair is designed to help blunt, if only in a small way, the staggering rate of illiteracy in the community. A new king and queen will be crowned very soon during homecoming.
The waiting is over and the secret is out. The country band Gloriana will be the headliner at the GC homecoming. SGA had been holding the decision close, but the announcement finally came via Facebook and Twitter on Monday. The opening acts are country singer Jared Neiman and Georgia College's Battle of the Bands winner, the White Kids. This year's theme will be, "When in Rome, do as you've done in Milledgeville." Homecoming week begins Monday, February 18th and continues through the 24th. The concert will begin at 9 p.m. on Friday, February 22nd. For a detailed list of events during homecoming, please visit www.homecoming.gcsu.edu. So Elliot, I understand you were going to be playing with the White Kids at the homecoming concert. How did you get that gig?
Well, Meredith, I'll tell you. Well, actually, let me just go ahead and start and say the members of the White Kids, which are me, Cody Allen, which is our SGA president. We have Graham Williams and Drew Thomas. So basically, we've been playing around at different Georgia College sponsored events.
Okay.
Ever since we really started playing, which I guess it's been about a year and a half now or so. We played at Tent City last year for homecoming, but the big thing that got us this gig was the fact that we won and participated in and won the Georgia College Battle of the Bands. And Georgia College is trying to start a program to where any participant, and especially the winner of the school-hosted Battle of the Bands competition has the opportunity, if they're deemed worthy enough by the people in charge, to play at homecoming.
Okay. Well, are you excited? Have you decided what you're going to be playing at the concert yet?
Oh, I am quite excited. We are going to be playing for a lot of people. It should be a great time.
Okay, well, thank you, Elliot. The Chick-fil-A controversy erupted on the Georgia College campus last fall, and it's still on SGA's agenda. Chick-fil-A's anti-gay rights CEO, Truett Cathy, has been the topic of discussion. Some say a public liberal arts campus shouldn't support Cathy because of his anti-gay rights stance. Others say it's just fast food, and Cathy has freedom of speech. But at least for now, Chick-fil-A has a place on campus. Chick-fil-A's place on campus is secure. Ross Bailey has the full story.
It's a commodity many of us take for granted. A Chick-fil-A conveniently located on the Georgia College campus. But its president's statements regarding the company's stance on same-sex marriage prompted an SGA review of Chick-fil-A's contract last fall. On Wednesday, SGA held a town hall meeting to present its findings and field questions from students and local community members.
We're here tonight to talk about the Chick-fil-A resolution that SGA passed and try and find a solution that we all find agreeable.
The SGA would like to gain insight on the student opinions pertaining to the topic to better decide on any future steps that we will need to take.
This isn't about a single individual restaurant on campus. I've gone in there plenty of times and been treated with respect, but it's about what the entire company stands for.
If Chick-fil-A has to go, Chick-fil-A should go because it's overpriced maybe. Maybe it's bad quality food, or maybe it's bad quality service. I strongly believe that the freedom of speech expressed by the CEO of Chick-fil-A is the freedom America has fought for.
There's already been a special committee that's been established to review the actions of Chick-fil-A and the possible breach of contract with Sodexo.
In this case, there's nothing in the contract with Chick-fil-A that says, or with Sodexo that says, those two companies' values have to align perfectly.
After the findings were presented, SGA executives took questions from the audience. One student questioned the relationship between her meal plan and Chick-fil-A's franchising fee.
My question was how our meal plans work, because it was my understanding that the money that we spend on our meal plan, part of that goes to Chick-fil-A because Sodexo pays them for franchising rights. And so my concern was that my money, whether I went to Chick-fil-A or not, was going to these groups who are trying to do something that I'm very against. So I was wondering how exactly our meal plan worked.
As far as the money that goes to pay for your meal plan, none of that money goes to Chick-fil-A unless you choose to go use Dining Dollars or Cat Cash that comes with a particular meal plan to spend that money at Chick-fil-A. If you choose not to go to Chick-fil-A, then none of your meal plan money is going to totally up to you.
Is there any sort of fee that we pay to Chick-fil-A just to have it on campus before we do any sort of, before any student buys any sandwich? Do we have to pay a fee or does Sodexo have to pay a fee? It's paid to them. I don't know if we pay them.
To be honest with you, I'm not sure if there's an annual franchise fee. I know there's an initial franchise fee with a national brand like that, and I'm not sure if there's an annual franchise fee. But again, that's being paid by Sodexo, not by the college. And then royalties, the biggest source of income to Chick-fil-A off of any sales on the campus would be through royalties that are paid on actual sales. So again, if you're not going to Chick-fil-A and spending your money there, they're getting their money off of that.
Going forward, I think that we'll probably release a statement that says that SGA does not agree with what the WinShape Foundation is doing because it doesn't stand for what our university stands for. We're a diverse university, we're a liberal arts university, but we know that Chick-fil-A is not in violation of anything.
In addition to finding no breach of contract, the review also acknowledged an overwhelming amount of student support in favor of keeping the Chick-fil-A location. Many SGA officials cited this as the most influential factor in the decision to keep Chick-fil-A. The debate surrounding its president's statements will likely continue, but for now, the popular franchise will remain here on the Georgia College campus. For GC360 News, I'm Ross Bailey.
We'll be right back with entertainment. Let's switch gears and lighten the mood. We're going to turn to our new entertainment anchor, Carolina Classens. She's going to give us a look at what to expect from Georgia College in the upcoming weeks ahead. What do we have going on, Carolina?
Thanks, Meredith. The Georgia College Theater Department has been struck by Cupid, and just in time for Valentine's Day. I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change is the first show of the year for the GC Theater Department. Directed by Amy Penny, the 4-person cast faces a huge challenge. Each actor must memorize all of the lines of the show. Cast members then pick the character they will play out of a hat just minutes before the show begins. GC360's Drew Ringham gives us this sneak preview.
This year, the Georgia College Theater Department will be part of the homecoming festivities for the first time with their production of I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change. We spoke with a few of the actors to find out more about this unique show and how the rehearsal process has gone so far.
I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change started off-Broadway. It is a series of vignettes telling various love stories from first dates to couples at their old age struggling to find the love and the spark in their life, and it's different stories, happy, sad, in between, and it's different perspectives that people can relate to.
The show's obviously similar because it's the same kind of model as your basic musical. You know, you've got a scene and then you've got a song. The difference is every single scene is different and every single character is different. So that's been a big part of it, is finding all these 15 different characters that each of us have to play, and there's only 4 of us, which is really new because I've never done something with so few people, and it's been a really special experience because we've all gotten really close and bonded and blended, which is awesome.
It's influenced me as an actor because it's an ultimate acting exercise. I mean, we all have so many different characters to play and so many different situations to portray, and usually when you get a part in a play or a musical, you just play one character and you maintain that character throughout the entirety of the show. This is different because you have to change your persona so many different times, and it's a really interesting experience.
I think my biggest challenge has been that I play 15 different characters, ranging from my own age all the way up to a 40-year-old woman, which has obviously been a lot of character development, and that's been something that I've been working a lot with in rehearsals, and finding those different characters and making them look like different people and not, you know, getting really similar, which is really tough to do with that many. So that's probably been my biggest challenge so far. I would say the best experience is the first time that we sang through either the finale or the opening together as a cast, because it just sounded so amazing, and there's so few of us that you can really hear everyone and how we blend, and we work so well together, and I was not anticipating it to be that amazing the first time that we sang together, and so that was a really special moment.
Come down to Russell Auditorium to see I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change, February 20th through 23rd at 8 p.m. and the 24th at 2 p.m. This has been Drew Ringham reporting for GC360.
Now to sports with our new sports anchor, Nick Landon.
Thank you, Meredith. Sunday night brought success and excitement to Georgia College for the performance of the men and women's basketball teams. But basketball wasn't the only thought on Georgia College community's mind that evening. Payne Inman gives us a look at a community effort to help save a 2-year-old boy's life.
Much more than basketballs were in the air when Georgia College squared off against Young Harris College on Sunday. One very special young boy with leukemia was in everyone's thoughts.
Abram Gaines is the son of Mark Gaines, our men's basketball coach, and a couple years ago now, actually I think about a year, he was diagnosed with leukemia, childhood leukemia. So Abe's been battling. He's actually in remission now. But this year we wanted to kind of make a more focused effort where each team is picking a game out of their schedule to wear orange and to raise some funds and awareness for childhood leukemia to honor Abe and the fight he continues to have.
You know, basketball is just a game, but you know, the administration here, Toby, my good friend, the women's assistant coach, kind of came up with this idea, Play for Abe Night, which would help us out, you know, financially, because it's been a struggle as far as getting up and down to Atlanta and back. Gas isn't cheap anymore. It's not 97 cents a gallon. And not only that, even more importantly than that, just letting people know that there's some kids struggling with some things, and Abe's been struggling but been doing great.
All funds collected went to the Gaines family to finance Abe's treatments. $722 was collected at Sunday's game, and more is still coming in. Maybe the thought of helping young Abe gave GC's team a boost. The men beat Young Harris 67-65, and the women prevailed also 68-55. For GC360 News, I'm Payne Inman.
That's all the time we have for today, but be sure to keep up with all the excitement and news on our website at www.gc360news.com.
Or check us out on Twitter at GC360 News and our Facebook page at facebook.com/GC360. I'm Meredith Barnes.
And I'm Elliot Payne. We'll see you next week.